Today, comedian Bill Cosby's sex assault trial getting underway in a suburban Philly courtroom.
Yeah, as we hear from CBS correspondent Kenneth Craig, one of his TV children was there by his side.
Bill Cosby arrived for the first day of trial, not with his own family, but with his TV family. Actress Keshia Knight Pulliam from The Cosby Show accompanied the 79-year-old comedian as he faces charges of sexual assault. Dozens of women have accused Cosby, but the case of Andrea Constand is the only one to lead to criminal charges. She says she went to Cosby's Pennsylvania home in 2004 to discuss her career and that he drugged and assaulted her. In opening statements, the prosecutor said Cosby used drugs so that Constand couldn't say no, so that, quote, she can't move, she can't talk, completely paralyzed, frozen, lifeless.
Their legal theory is that Bill Cosby gave her 3 blue pills that left her incapacitated, and because she was incapacitated, there's no way she could have consented to the sexual acts that followed.
The prosecutor says when Constand testifies, she will be brutally honest. Cosby does not plan to take the stand, but has insisted the encounter was consensual. His defense attorney told the court Cosby gave Constand Benadryl only to help her sleep. He said her story is a false accusation in that it can destroy him, it can destroy his life, it can destroy his future. The first witness called was another of Cosby's accusers. She told a story similar to Constand's of pills and sexual assault. If convicted, Cosby could face up to 10 years in prison. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Norristown, Pennsylvania.
And the comedian is charged with 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. His trial expected to last about 2 weeks. Cameras are not allowed in Pennsylvania courtrooms. The judge is restricting social media posts in order to avoid what he calls a circus atmosphere.
And Keshia Knight Pulliam, who lives here in Metro Atlanta, Rudy from the Huxtable, or from the Cosby Show.
That's right, who was there by his side.
Yeah. Rain is falling again here in Metro Atlanta.
A live look for you at Marietta, where the rain is starting to come down. You can see it there in the distance. CBS 46 Chief Meteorologist Jim Kosek. He is tracking the rain for us. The forecast coming up in 2 minutes.
And the latest on a deadly workplace shooting where a gunman killed 5 people before taking his own life. Hear what the sheriff had to say about the killings.
And this week, Karen Hennel, John Ossoff debate not once, but twice. We ask 6 voters about what they want to hear.
Right now, let's take a look at what's coming up tonight on CBS 46. At 8 o'clock, it's Kevin Can Wait, followed by Man with a Plan. At 9 o'clock, watch Mom and Life in Pieces. Then at 10 o'clock, check out Scorpion. And stay up with us for CBS 46 News at 11. Right now, we're keeping a close eye on the radar. Another dose of rain is on the way after a soupy, soggy weekend. Some areas of North Georgia, as you see right here, recorded up to 5 inches of rain over the weekend. That's a mess, the radar.
It is. It's a lot of rain. Because of that, some of you right now are under a flood watch through tomorrow morning. Here's a look at some of the flooding that we saw over the weekend. As Mike mentioned, a mess in some places. A viewer sending us this video of that flooding on Randall Street. This is in Buckhead. And here's a live look outside right now where it is cloudy over Stone Mountain right now. CBS 46 Chief Meteorologist Jim Kosek. He's tracking all that rain. Jim, you always want the rain until it gets here, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. For some areas, it's obviously too much too fast. In general, 1 to 2 inches north of Metro Atlanta from this past weekend, but a couple of spots over the northwest corner of the state picked up as much as 5 inches of rain, hence that flash flood watch. Now, it was extended until 8 in the evening tomorrow, so it is in effect for at least another 24 hours. And it runs from Rome to Gainesville and points northbound. It is not for areas farther to the south, but you can see on our CBS 46 Doppler radar there are pockets of showers and thunderstorms, and it's not just a one and done tonight. It's also throughout the course of tomorrow. We'll eventually see a push of drier air coming in, so we'll have the thunderstorms leading toward isolated flash flooding. In a worst case scenario, strong damaging winds, but I'm going to lean against the prospects of severe weather and focus mainly on the intensity of the rain. Once we get it out of here, the humidity takes a dip. I'll tell you how long that lasts and the changes that I'm expecting headed into the upcoming weekend in a few minutes from now, Mike.
All right, thank you, Jim. Keep track of the weather in between the newscasts with our CBS 46 weather app. Text CBS 46 weather to 23765 to download.
Well, right now, police investigating a deadly case of workplace violence near Orlando, Florida. 6 people are dead, including a former employee who shot himself. CBS News correspondent Don Champion explains what may have led up to that shooting.
Law enforcement swarmed this industrial park east of Orlando just 2 minutes after a 911 call about an active shooter. Inside Fiamma, a company that makes awnings for RVs, a former employee shot 5 people before taking his own life.
At least one of them he had a negative relationship with. He was certainly singling out the individuals that he shot.
The sheriff identified the shooter as 45-year-old John Robert Newman Jr., an Army veteran who had been fired in April.
My experience tells me that this individual had made deliberate thought to do what he did today. He had a plan of action and he executed his plan.
Newman had a minor criminal history, but deputies responded to an incident at Fiamma 3 years ago after he allegedly assaulted a co-worker.
She is very distraught, very emotional.
Shelly Adams' sister works at Fiamma. She told her family she was in the bathroom when she heard a bang.
She saw one on the floor is all she said, and she kept saying, "My boss is dead."
The victims are Fiamma employees ranging in age from 44 to 69. Investigators are interviewing 8 survivors. Don Champion, CBS News, Dallas.
And the sheriff said that gunman reloaded his handgun at least once and told a temporary employee to get out during his spree. He was also armed with a hunting knife that he apparently did not use. CBS 46 with an in-depth look now at workplace shootings in Metro Atlanta. On April 29th, 2014, Geddy Lee Kramer opened fire at the FedEx distribution center in Kennesaw. He shot 6 people at his workplace before killing himself. One of his victims, Christopher Sparkman, has undergone dozens of surgeries. On January 12, 2010, police say Jesse James Warren shot and killed 3 people at a Penske truck rental business in Kennesaw. A 4th victim died years later from complications related to his injuries. Warren was a former employee. He is still waiting to go on trial.
Today, Northeast Atlanta's Druid Hills community is mourning the loss of a 9th grader. A plane crashed over the weekend, and it took the life of Molly Reed. She was a student at the Padilla School, and she was vacationing in Puerto Rico at the time of the crash. The plane had departed the island's main international airport and was headed to the popular nearby island of Culebra, east of Puerto Rico. That's when the plane malfunctioned and crashed. We're working to find out more about funeral arrangements. And Atlanta firefighters on the mend after getting hurt while fighting a house fire. The fire chief is telling us a firefighter stepped into a hole and injured his knee while battling the fire on Benteen Avenue in southeast Atlanta overnight. The firefighter is expected to be okay. Investigators say a lit candle sparked the fire.
Well, turning now to politics, and this week will be a busy one for Republican Karen Handel and Democrat Jon Ossoff. The candidates face off in their first head-to-head debate, and it is expected to be contentious. CBS 46 political reporter Giovanna Derpick live in Tucker with what voters, Giovanna, are saying about this.
Ben, the battle for the 6th is being fought in all kinds of neighborhoods, including this one, which is where we're at in Tucker. Now, these are some of the homes of the residents that Jon Ossoff and Karen Handel are trying to send to the polls to vote for them. Now, make no mistake, it's a critical week for the candidates, but it's even more critical they connect with the voters, not with personal attacks, but by talking about issues, at least according to the voters. About 2 weeks before Jon Ossoff and Karen Handel square off in the runoff in the 6th district race,
they accuse each other of things.
Richard Gilbert says he wants to hear about issues, but he didn't specify which one was most important. For him, it's more about a changing of the guard.
I just want to change is what I want.
I don't pay much attention to these negative ads.
Nancy Davenport is rooting for Ossoff's rival, Karen Handel. She wants to hear about spending issues.
I think it's important not to go into debt any further.
The pair have agreed to 2 debates, which are both this week. The last time the 2 debated, it was with 16 other candidates back in April. But now it's just the 2 of them. Here's what CBS 46 political analyst Bill Nigut will be looking for in terms of positioning.
Will Ossoff tag her as a rubber stamp for President Trump in the way that they will certainly try to tag him as a rubber stamp for Nancy Pelosi?
Davenport worries about health care. And even though Gilbert is a senior citizen as well, and they both live relatively close, he, as a veteran, worries about where the direction of the country and the 6th district are going. And coming up at 6 p.m. on CBS 46 News, both of the candidates are lobbing more attacks at each other. We'll take a look at what some of those attacks are and how they're being received. in the 6th District. Reporting live from Tucker, Giovanna Dierpig, CBS 46 News.
Giovanna, thank you. An in-depth look now at the latest early voting numbers from the 6th District congressional race. So far, more than 32,000 people have voted in that race, either by mail or in person. Voters in Fulton County, they lead the turnout count with more than 16,000 ballots cast. DeKalb is second with nearly 10,000, and Cobb is third with more than 6,500. Election officials tell us there are still about 18,000 mail-in ballots still outstanding. Early voting continues through June 16th. That is the same day that voting by mail ends. Runoff election day is the following Tuesday, June 20th. Well, right now, CBS 46 is getting answers to help you understand the candidates, their positions, and how this race fits into the local and national landscape. So many questions. It is a Campaign 2017 special, The Showdown in District 6, and it all airs a week from tomorrow, Tuesday, June 13th at 9 p.m. Well, neighbors unite in hopes of saving a movie theater.
They say they want no part of what might take its place.
And it doesn't take long for a fun day or grilling to become an inferno. CBS 46 News identifies things you can do to protect friends and loved ones.
And right now, let's take you live outside, show you the Midtown Atlanta skyline where there's a break in the rain, it looks like here, although the rain could be back. We also want to say a shout out to folks in Dunwoody and Douglasville coming in Athens. You're watching CBS 46 News at 4.